down the way to Florida and under some rain, as you can see already in the paddock. We are here, ladies and gentlemen, for the Miami Grand Prix, one of the many United States Grand Prix that we have across the year. It's 3 Americans Grand Prix, one is Las Vegas, one is Texas, Austin, and then the other one is Miami. A very unusual track, is not a track that we do very much often in the Formula One calendars, and for good reasons. It's not really a fan favorite track, especially in difficult conditions like this. As you can see, the rain has hit the track here in qualifying, and this is gonna be very difficult indeed for the drivers, and very interesting for me, VS Gabri, your commentator, to see how the qualifying and how the race goes here for round number 6 of Division 1 of season 16. After the mental race we've had last week in Abu Dhabi, so many incidents, so many racing, so many overtakes, so much racing, so many surprises across the entire grid, across the entire race. You would have expected that many positions would have changed due to some stewards' decisions, and they have indeed. And after the penalties have been sorted out, this is the championship, as Car Chaser still leading by 9 points on Felix. Felix had a very useful chance to gain points on Car Chaser in the last race, but unluckily wasn't able to do so. He just gained 2 points, so now the gap is down to 9 points, with Car Chaser leading, Felix in second. Morgan Edwards is still with a very solid P3 in the standings on 44 points. Jeremy is right behind on 41 points. And then just behind Jeremy, we have the driver that we are watching right now. It is Alex, Felix's teammate, who is in P5 with 31 points. Phantom Fox in P6 at 30 points. Shamol in P7, 28. Then we've got Scafex and Sally equal on points on 27, P8 and 9. Sam Alling in P10, Edwin in P11, PC Willie in P12 with 24 points for Edwin, 22 points for PC Willie, 19 points for Dylan. I mean, I could go on for literally the entire grid because the gaps are so close between the drivers. Every single position could be changed, like every single race. And for the constructors, the championship sees Ferrari leading on 93 points, Mercedes in P2 on 87, Haas is P3 on 81, and Aston Martin is P4 on 74. And meanwhile, Alex, the first driver who was supposed to complete a lap, has invalidated, and fair point, Miami is actually an easy track to invalidate lap times, especially in this difficult rainy conditions. I mean, Miami already has already by itself is not an easy track at all. You have to push the car through some very long and some even acute corners. I mean, this one is very wide and very long, but there are also like very tight and short chicanes, like the one from turn 14 to 15, and even like this low section at the end of sector 2 going down to turn 16. It's still very technical, and you have to do those corners with actually very low downforce. The straights are, the back straight from turn 16 to 17, as with DRS, it is very important to maximize, and also the straight from the exit of turn 8 to turn 11. There is also a DRS zone just as sector 2 starts. So yeah, straight line speed is definitely something you do not want to sacrifice at all. It's going to be very difficult, and I don't know if the rain is going to be in the race as well. But if that's not the case, if the race is going to be dry, the drivers are really going to have a hard time in qualifying, because they are pushing under the rain with already limited grip by zone. I mean, already low downforce on the dry you will do, but with the rain as well, like you will really struggle to keep the car on track. So I reckon we could see some surprises here in qualifying. Now, as you can see, Arian is out on inters, and the first laps have been set, as Morgan Edwards has set the provisional fastest time with a 35.3. Felix just behind had been just set 36.7, 1.3 seconds behind Morgan Edwards, and just 1.2 behind Felix. Then Jeremy puts himself just behind Felix, just behind his main rival from last race in Abu Dhabi. And he's gonna start, well, at the moment, he looks like he's gonna start just behind him. In the meanwhile, I asked to the Discord chat how's the weather gonna be during the race, and in the meanwhile, Kartracer sets a new fastest lap time at 35.1 with Alex Lamas very close behind. Actually, Alex, he's an esports driver. He races for AMR in the esports division, which is actually going to end tomorrow. It's gonna be the last race of the esports division. It's gonna be a wet Brazil. It's gonna be wet to dry to wet. Unfortunately, I won't be able to commentate that, but I think Felix should be, and we'll see what other commentators we can get for the race tomorrow. And Anila has won the championship. I think 2 weeks ago. I think it was in round 8. But the 5-4P2 is still very much on, and AMR, Alex Lamas' team, is still very much in the 5-4P2. So I reckon you still tune in to the channel, to the F1 Total YouTube channel tomorrow at 7 p.m. UK to see definitely an exciting ending to the esports division. I think we're pretty happy of how it went. A lot of racing and a lot of memorable moments. So yeah, I reckon you should tune in. We got Sam Alling as well. He's in NLR, and to be honest, I'm not actually sure if he races in the esports division, but he's a part of the NLR team, and he raced in Division 1 a few weeks ago. I think it was Qatar. I think he was fighting for the win, but I got a track limits penalty or something and wasn't able to win. But now he sets a 36.3, which is good enough for P6. He sets himself between Jeremy and Alex at the moment. Oh, and actually, there's two Alex. I didn't notice. I noticed only now. Alex Lamas and Alex the G. I think I'm gonna have to say those names fully to avoid confusion. Okay, so it's a dry race. So just discovered from Edwin, it's gonna be a dry race. So the difficult part will likely be only in qualifying, luckily for the drivers. Now we go into the slowest parts of the track. As PC Willy, we can see just now he's approaching turn 13 and braking for the chicane of 14 F15, riding a lot of curb, and traction is so difficult through these corners. Exit turn 16, so vital, because as you can see you have this extremely long back straight with DRS enabled, obviously not enabled in the rain, but it will be enabled and will play a huge part in the race. A straight that ends into a very hard braking zone for turn 17. And on turn 9, Willy, first lap time will be a 35.2 for P4, and wow, look at those gaps. 57 thousandths from pole position for PC Willy, who is in P4. Alex Lamas 56, but he's currently improving by 3/10. Jeremy has set a lap good enough for P2 at the moment, and improved himself by 7/10, and he was just a few hundreds behind Kartracer, but Kartracer actually improved even more, as he now sets a lap of 34.7, and actually Alex Lamas beats that at 34.4. And in the meanwhile, Alex improved as well by more than 1 second. And I think the track is rubbering. I think the rain is getting lighter and the grip is increasing. So maybe that's the reason why lap times are getting faster, which is a common thing you see in the rain in qualifying. Even if the rain stays the same, it doesn't get lighter. Theoretically, the track gets better, so you should have more grip as you drive more and more. The track gets rubbered in nicely, and you should be able to achieve faster lap times, and that's what the drivers are doing right now. I didn't see Morgan's delta time after sector 1, so we're gonna have to just wait for sector 2 and just look at how much he's serious. Like he flicks his steering wheel. He flicked the steering wheel twice, now 3 times. That almost look like an understeer, like maybe a voluntarily induced understeer. I don't know, that's an interesting style. But in the meanwhile, Morgan is improving by 1 second, and at the moment is going to be enough for a new pole position time. Takes a lot of the curb on the inside of turn 17. Let's see, the weather conditions and the track conditions should be improving, and so does Morgan Edwards' time, improving by 1.2 seconds, now set at 34.0. And the rain is definitely getting lighter, like you can visibly see how lighter the rain is getting now. Alex is gonna be starting another lap. Car Chaser is in the middle of a lap. Currently now pushing his Mercedes through the S section and into this very long turn 7, which actually catches Car Chaser off guard as he has an oversteer mid corner. It's such a particular corner, turn 7. You stay on the outside as wide as possible as you stay on the brake up until you reach the apex. Like you stay on the brake for a very long time, like 2 to 3 seconds probably. As you try to control the car, you stay as wide as possible on the entry in mid corner, but then you gradually brake until you get the apex. It's such a particular corner. I mean, Miami as well is such a particular track, and it did receive quite some criticism back when it was introduced in 2022, and it hasn't changed either. I think Bazooka will be starting lap now, yes. Currently down in P10. 2.2 seconds over pole position and only 4/10 behind Shambull just ahead of him. So the top 10 as it stands is Morgan Edwards on provisional pole position with Alex Lamas in P2. Then we've got Car Chaser, Jeremy, Alex the G, Peace Willie, Felix, Edwin, Shambull and Bazooka currently running out the top 10. And we've got some breaking news in the top 2 because Alex Lamas now sets a new fastest time. Morgan Edwards is in P2 and Car Chaser in P3. And I think the track conditions are improving even more just as I speak. So I think even Morgan Edwards will be able to improve his lap time even more. Because actually, he stayed on the brake a lot less than I thought, like a lot less than 2 seconds. And he's improving by 5/10 after sector 1, so now he's on the first straight with DRS. Well, actually, not the first, because the first straight with DRS will be the one with the start-finish line, but it's quite short, like you don't really gain a lot with DRS. But anyway, through the chicane, and through turn 16 to end sector 2 with a delta time up by 8/10, which is again gonna be enough for pole position. So I think the fight for pole position will be between the two Saubers of Alex Lamas and Sam Allen, but also between Morgan Edwards in the V-Cab and Car Chaser in the Mercedes, who in the pits actually has put the soft tires. And it's interesting because the track actually looks dry. So it might be actually a good move as the end of qualifying approaches, and Morgan Edwards now sets an even faster lap time with a 32.7, still on the inters, but some drivers in the pit boxes are selecting the slick tire, the soft compound, and the track indeed looks dry. So does the sky. Like, I don't see any raindrops falling. Now it is just up to the driver's feeling, and ooh, Sam Allen having quite an oversteer moment. But I mean, now it's up to the drivers to feel if the track is still a little bit greasy, like if they have some slides here and there, even with those soft tires, which could be still possible, because even if the track looks dry, it actually takes some laps, some distance, some rubber to rubber in nicely so that the grip comes back fully for the slick tires. So it might still be greasy and slippery, but theoretically it should improve. We got 3 minutes left in qualifying, and it should be enough for the track to actually go back to dry conditions, theoretically. There we go, even Alex now selecting the soft tires, but no one out on track with those softs. We just have Morgan Edwards on his in lap, Still on the Inters. Is not an in-lap. What? Still pushing. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything. But I think you saw that by yourself. That's the end of qualifying for Morgan Edwards, as now we have 1 minute and a half left to go. And Jarvis and Alex Lamas is still on the Inters. What, mate? What are you doing? The track is so dry, everyone is out of softs. Why are you still on Inters? I mean, I get that the Inters tire are green and so is the Sauber car, so maybe they thought that the color would actually match the livery and maybe it was the best option. But look at that, he's so slightly. Oh! Also, Catchacer was almost close to the wall there. Let's see, is the grip actually back? What? Why? What? Why is he brushing the wall? What is happening? This is so confusing. Catchacer is just brushing the wall on the right hand side on those softs. And he's still sliding somewhat. But anyway, we are gonna go on board with Jeremy to commentate a lap here around Miami. Now on the slick soft tires, now braking for turn 1, just at the 100-meter board. Stay on the left hand side and creep the apex on the inside, then watch out for traction as we go round turn 2 and the long right-hander out turn 3. And now is gonna be a setup for the S section, starting with this left-hander, turn 4, going into 5 on the right, then turn 6 on the left, then braking, slowing down the car up until the apex of turn 7 and slacking to the right of turn 8, and that is how Sector 1 finishes with an improvement of 84 thousandths for Jeremy in the Ferrari. Now DRS is not enabled. I didn't notice that, so that's gonna be actually a huge part in the lap because DRS is not enabled. So he's gonna have to just rely on his ERS, but he has a massive slide out of turn 11. I'm actually not even sure the soft tires are faster at this moment, to be honest. What about Alex? Oh, Alex is using the slipstream from Sam Alling. Teamwork from the Sauber drivers. Let's see. Now Alex braking for turn 11, and it still looks like the Inters could actually still be faster. I'm actually not sure, but Alex has a little bit of a slide. Let's see if he can find 5 more tenths to beat Morgan Edwards' time set on the Inters. After sector 2, he improves, but not enough. Just a tenth and a half. This is actually mental. The soft tires, which I thought should be faster, might actually prove to be slower. Everyone is sliding, everyone is losing the car around every single corner. Alex Lamas might have actually made the best choice with the Inters. So let's see, can he still find more time? Coming out of turn 17, now 18 and 19 across the line. Can Alex take pole position? He cannot, by 34 thousandths of a second. He stays behind in P2 at 32.752. It is not enough against the 32.717 of Morgan Edwards, and this is absolutely insane. The track looks so dry, but the Inters tires were still much faster. DRS was not enabled, which is something I didn't consider and didn't notice. So against all expectations, the Inters were still faster, and the top 2 have set a lap on the Inters, good enough for pole position and for P2. And this, honestly, this is so weird. This is honestly so weird. The track was bone dry, but the fastest lap times out of everyone's times have actually still been set on the Inters. Miami. I mean, what happens in Miami stays in Miami or something. I don't know. But Morgan Edwards takes pole position and Alex Lamas in P2. Then we have Sam Alden, Country Sebazika, Jeremy, Alex, PC Willie, Felix, Edwin, Shamul, Sally, Jonathan, Aksharik, always, and Tom. Without a lap time, he's going to be starting in last place. And there we go. Just a quick rundown through the qualifying results. And yeah, now the race is ready to go. And there we go. Finally back to dry and actually drive for real this time. Like, I will be very surprised if the Inters tires will still be faster than the slicks right now. I mean, I guess F124 sometimes does its thing and just the correct tires are not the one that look like the correct tires. Just F124 things, I guess. But F125 is coming relatively soon, like in 2 months and a day. It's going to come out on the 30th of May. It's been announced this week. And the beta version of F125 is actually out for those who have had access to the F125 beta. They are playing it now up until, I don't remember which day, but like it's going to end in 2 days or something. Then there's going to be another session between like end of April and beginning of May. So yeah, they've announced they've announced Racing Point 3 reverse tracks, which is going to be interesting. But other than that, I actually don't remember any news. Like, overhaul in my team career, but other than that, nothing else I can really think of. But anyway, while waffling about F125, the drivers are getting ready for the only Miami race they will have to do on F124. And there we go. They are ready for the race start. The 5 red lights are on and it's lights out and away we go here in Miami. Morgan Edwards actually gets overtaken by Alex Lamas. Morgan Edwards is a very poor start and he loses the lead, but there's contact already between Morgan Edwards and Catrice just after turn 1, and Alex Lamas has taken the lead. Morgan Edwards losing P1 just outside of the grid box, now down in P2. PC William Bazaka making moves on each other. Catrice not exactly with a great start either in P5, but he was involved in that contact with Morgan Edwards on the braking zone of turn 1. Then we've got always now overtaking Tom and Jeremy Samali also fighting for position. Many moves in the midfield. Look at that, there is the Aston Martin making a move on the Ferrari. It's actually going to be the Sauber, the summer of Sam Alden, going around the outside of Jeremy for the braking zone of turn 11. Who's going to be ahead? Jeremy has the inside line. It looks like he outbreaks the Sauber, but actually Sam Alden stays ahead, and now he has the inside line for sector 2. They still go wheel to wheel through the chicane. Will they go wheel to wheel through? Jeremy has a moment and he has to back out at the last possible second, and all this contact catches has hit Jeremy, and Jeremy is ghosting, and I think I saw some debris flying, but I'm not sure. Maybe if someone got wing damage or not, I can't really tell by the camera angles now. Now Jonathan fighting against Ali for P11. Catches overtaking Jeremy for P4, and Jeremy stays in P4. And Edwin with a very deep braking for turn 17. Now Sally and Jonathan going side by side, so lots of scrambling throughout the grid. And Sally has wing damage. There we go. I think Sally might have been involved in some contact through the chicane of turn 14 and 15. Now there we go. Shamul and Jonathan having a look around Sally's car. And they go 3 wider into turn 2. What is happening? So much contact now. Always is into this battle as well. Following Shamul, Sally and Jonathan. They went side by side through turn 2. And between this pack, I think Jonathan is ahead. And he might lose the RSU. Alex the G, while Sally tries to hold on to the RS with that damaged front wing. He's missing the right end plate. At the top of the field, Alex Lamas is maintaining the lead, but Morgan Edwards has now recovered up into P2. Sam Alden has the RS, and he has a huge dive on inside the main contact. Morgan Edwards gets pushed out of the track as Sam Alden makes a move down the inside from downtown to overtake Morgan Edwards, but he clipped the inside wall on the left hand side, and he's ghosting. Now Cat Racer is trying to ghost through his car to overtake him as well, and it looks like Cat Racer still stays ahead, so now he's up into P3. Sam Alling doesn't look like he has some wing damage, but let's see. Now they both have DRS, and Sam Alling has a look down the inside of turn 17. He outbreaks the Mercedes driver. Now he goes down the inside and stays ahead for P3. Alex Lamas has broken DRS from Morgan Edwards, 1.3 seconds. Now he even sets the fastest lap. Now let's look at the tires in the middle. Shamul gets a 3-second time penalty. Mostly mediums, apart from some drivers on the hards. Those drivers are Morgan Edwards, Felix, and Shamul. Sally is into the pits, and I think he's gonna fit the hard tires as well to fix his front wing. And down to P16 the Ferrari driver goes. Now, who's very close to an overtake? I think Bazooka might chase Felix, Jeremy might chase Cat Racer. Okay, so the situation has calmed down a little bit, but let's see. There is a huge DRS train in the midfield. We will see any overtakes. Actually, we will. Sam Alling on Morgan Edwards once again. Sam Alling reclaims P2, still in the same corner where he made the overtake before. And now he even stays ahead of Morgan through the chicane section, unlike he did before. And right now it is a Sauber 1-2 on lap 3 out of 29. But Morgan Edwards is very close. He's using the RS. He has a look down inside of turn 17. Will he be able to make it? Yes, he will. As he catches it almost the rear end. Sam Alling very close to contact there, but he still maintains the car in one piece. No contact made, although it was close. Moves at the back. Shamul and Noah is fighting side by side through turn 17. They go very, very slow, trying to find the perfect traction out of that particular corner. But now catches it. Morgan Edwards goes side by side through turn 2 and 3. Do they lock wheels? I think they haven't actually. Morgan stays in P3, Cart stays in P4, and Sam Alling stays in P2. And all this battling is very helpful for Alex Lamas, who is just cruising into the distance, currently in P1, 3 seconds from his teammate. And obviously there might have been some team play from Sam Alling to try and defend as much as possible so that his teammate can go into the distance and just drive as calmly as possible to defend this lead. But this P2 is not going to be defended very easily by Morgan Edwards, because he's going to have DRS to overtake just before turn 11. Very easily done. But now Cat Racer has a look as well. Alex and Bazooka fighting for positions, I guess. I think Alex overtook Bazooka. Now all the drivers getting through the chicane section, and Alex just cruising off into the distance. There we go, DRS enabled for Sam Alling, who easily goes up into P3. Cat Racer still has DRS, not close enough for a move. But who is close enough for a move is Alex, overtaking his teammate on the back straight. Bazooka has a look down inside, he actually backs out and takes a wider line. But he stays in pin 10, so no moves made by the Red Bull driver. Cat Racer is very close to Morgan Edwards. He has a look down the inside, and massive lockup from Sam Alling, who goes a little bit deep. Morgan Edwards has gained some time and some distance back, but now they are so close to each other. Is Car gonna try and overtake Morgan? Not yet, because they still have to get through the S section. But Morgan is absolutely sending it to try and get close to Sam as soon as possible, and now the gap is up to 4 seconds between the two Sauber teammates. Jamie as well into this DRS train. This DRS train goes from P2 to P7. Sam Alling, Morgan Edwards, Cat Racer, Jeremy, PC Willie and Edwin are all within DRS range of each other. Morgan Edwards locks the rear, and Cat Racer almost hits him. Does Morgan have damage? I think I saw his end plate missing. No, I did not. Just a vision or something. But no wing damage on the V-Cub, so he's fine in P3, and he's not losing grip or downforce. But he was actually going very slow through turn 12, like the very long right-hander before the chicane. So maybe that's what I thought. Very cautious braking from Cat Racer to try and not rear-end Morgan. Oh, Sam Alling with not exactly the greatest of exits as Morgan Edwards tries and recovers just a little bit. But cut is even closer. 1 tenth and a half between the Mercedes and the V-Cub. 4 tenths between the Mercedes and the Ferrari of Jeremy. And they all go through nicely, through turn 8. Now onto the back straight. Morgan, I think, will send another move on the inside, but will Caceres do the same as he uses all the system and the speed advantage from the DRS? Does he actually fakes a dive on the inside, but Sam Alling doesn't fall for that trick, so he takes the normal racing line, covering the apex and maintaining his P3. So he's gonna try to chase Morgan, but he's not deploying, he's harvesting energy. He was going very slow through that section, and this might have actually slowed down Caceres because he's now so eager to make them all happen as they... Oh, actually Sam Alling now he's deploying. He's deploying, so Caceres and Sam Alling, oh, they go, whoa, they go so deep into the braking zone. And Caceres stays ahead of Sam, so now he can chase Morgan. I have no idea around what lap the mediums will start to get slower than the hubs. But it might be around here, maybe around lap 7, or like if it's later, maybe lap 10 or something. And oh, Sam Alling, he had an oversteer and he's now ghosting, and now Jeremy is going side by side with him as he overtakes in 4P4, going down the inside of turn 7 after the oversteer. Sam Alling had to correct, but luckily kept the car on track, but he's down in P5. Sully has retired in the pit lane. That is the end of the Miami Grand Prix for the Ferrari driver, down in P16. And oh, Sam Alling with a massive send on the inside, but Jeremy as an infinitely better exit. Nothing Sam Alling can do to recover from that, but he just sent it from miles back. But that is a retirement for Sully. His race already very much compromised after lap 1. And ooh, there's a Haas of Felix who had a massive moment on the exit of turn 16, just swerving all the way to the left on traction on the exit. Caceres is still trying his best to chase after Morgan. So we still have the same DRS train from P2 to P7. Then we've got Felix, from Felix to Bazeka, and then the back markers outside of the top 11. We've got Jonathan always and Shamul, and Shamul is just ever so slightly outside of DRS. Now both Sam Alling and Pizzolilli have DRS. The Aston Martin is not gaining anything, so they still stay where they are. But Sam Alling he's diving the inside so much, like so often. Like he wasn't even doing a retake now, but he just broke so late. It breaks so late for turn 11, and it just goes deep. He just not hitting the apex at all. But Sam is actually losing out to Jeremy on DRS. Yes, Sam Alling has lost DRS. This is now a chance for PC William Edwin to catch back. He is deploying, but he's out of battery, surely. The Haas teammates exchange positions. And there is someone going into the pits. That is Sam Alling, the Sauber driver, into the pits already on lap 9. He wants to change those mediums, and I have no idea about how the tire works around Miami, but like on instinct, pitting on lap 9 from mediums is quite early. Again, I have no idea how quickly the tires wear, but lap 9 seems quite early, to be honest. But he goes on the Haas and goes back on track ahead of Action Week, down in P13 for the Sauber driver. There we go, now Carchester surely has a round with Morgan Edwards as he goes down inside of 2011. He fakes a dive, Morgan Edwards goes deep, and Cart, can he look for a switch break? Actually he cannot, he gets slowed down so much by Morgan. So now he just gets through the chicane and we have to make a move happen after turn 16. There we go, get a good exit. Deploying some energy and he will be using DRS very soon as well. 4 tenths, DRS enabled. 3 tenths. 2 tenths and a half. Has a look down the inside. Does he send it? No, he fakes it once again. And Morgan locks the rear ever so slightly. The Haas teammates still in the fight of their own. But now Carchester and Morgan Edwards, they go side by side. Carchester has the DRS and he takes the inside line to claim P2. Edwin as well in the pits. So now we have 2 drivers going from the mediums to the hards. That is Sam Alling and Edwin. And let's see if Sam Alling has executed an undercut on Edwin. Let's see. Now they are next to one another in terms of positions. Edwin out to the pit lane. There goes Sam Alling around turn 1. Does he stay ahead? He sits behind. So it's actually Edwin performing an overcut on Sam Alling as he now comes back on track in P12, and he might just ever so slightly try to break the arrest from Sam Alling, but he actually does not. So now the racing has gone a little bit more quiet, it's a little calmer, but I think we will see other pit stops soon from the mediums runners. Let's see what happens now. Alex is into the pits and Carchester stays out. Morgan Edwards is on the hard, so he's obviously gonna stay out. PCUD stays out as well. So it looks like Alex is the only medium runner to go back into the pits this lap. Lap 11 out of 29. Hard runners for the Sauber. And he goes out of the pits. Where does he come back on track? Should be ahead of Jonathan Owens. Yeah, very easily ahead of them. So in P8. Jeremy has lost DRS to Morgan. I think he might have. Yes, Jeremy has lost DRS to Morgan Edwards and Carchester, who swap positions on the back straight just before turn 11. So Morgan Edwards takes the lead of the race, but he's still on the hards. He's gonna have to go for the long stint and pit for the mediums later on. But Carchester, I think is gonna pit very, very soon, if not this lap. And we will see if, just like Edwin, he can pull off an overcut on, let's see, well, not really Alex because he was so far ahead in the lead, but maybe on Sam Alling and Edwin. Let's see, compared to them, what they can do. Oh, and Sam Alling gets a 3-second time penalty. That is a track limits penalty for Sam Alling. Jeremy in the pits. Another mini runner into the pit box. Carchester stays out. PC Willie comes in. Felix stays out on the hards. Alex stays out on the mediums. Bazaka comes in. Jonathan and Owais, they stay out. Then we got actually and some soon, but well, they're actually quite far from the finish line. What about Jeremy? He comes ahead of Sam Alling, so yet another overcut working perfectly for Jeremy now. And Shamor has crashed! And a safety car is out! Shamor has crashed! Oh, look at that! I think he hit the wall on the left hand side. That's gotta be the exit of turn 1, or like mid turn 2. Losing traction, spinning and hitting the wall on the left hand side, and that is a safety car out on track. And this is good, extremely good news for the top 4. Well, actually is it, because Morgan and Felix have the hards. And looking at how early the mediums were pitting, it might actually be a suboptimal strategy for them. Kart Racer and Alex, they could be in the effective lead of the race. Alex and Kart, they are in a very good spot right now. So is always, so is Jonathan. And so is Action Rick, but he's in P12, so he still has some work to do. There you go. Morgan Edwards, Kart Racer, Felix and Alex. Oh, it's a Haas double stack, and this is, oh no, this is such a bad situation for Alex. Alex has the better strategy because he can go from mediums to Haas, but he's gonna lose time behind his teammate who is on the worst strategy. This is terrible for Alex. It's a double stack for Haas and he's gonna have to lose time in the pit box. Now they change his size, but he's gonna lose out on important places. Very, very important places. So Alex stays out on those hards that he set a few laps earlier and reclaims the lead of the race. Morgan is in P2, but he's on the mediums and he's gonna have to push those mediums for about 15 laps. And seeing how early they were pitting after about 10 laps, that is definitely not the best strategy he could have opted for. Kart is in a very good situation, so is Jeremy, so Sam Alling not really, he has some sideware already and he has a checklist penalty. Edwin, he has some sideware. Biz Willie, I think is good, just a disadvantage of 1 lap, which is pretty much insignificant. Felix, it's very much a shame because he's on the bad strategy while his main rival Kart is on the good strategy. Unless he gets very lucky, like with another safety car, it's gonna be a tough one for Felix. Alex, he has the good strategy, and so does the rest of the grid from P10 to 14, but he just lost time behind his teammate with the double stack. But a safety car caused by Sean Moore crashing has now changed the race completely. So I honestly have no idea what this means, but they just shameless ping me in the chat. BS Gabri, make sure people know Edwin is a hero. I'm actually not sure. Oh, muted myself. I'm not sure about the context, but Edwin is a hero, I guess. I don't know. Safety car still out, lap 14 out of 29. I think it will be in this lap. Everyone has caught up, so is strong. So safety car should come back into the pits in this lap. Will we get the announcement soon? As the safety car, he's now on the back straight. Just before the last few corners. And there we go. Safety car in this lap. Alex Lamastre has been leading the race since the start. Well, not exactly since the actual start, but he had a perfect race start, overtaking Morgan Anderson just before turn 1 even came along. And has maintained the lead ever since. And now he's gonna have to do that again. Has he gone? He's still warming up the tires. It's a very late reset from Alex Lamas, who goes back on the throttle just around turn 18, and there are some overtakes already happening just as the race restarts. There is Edwin going on the inside and fighting with Sam Alling, and look at that, Sam Alling now stays in P6 just behind him, but he's fighting for P2. Sam Alling has actually a slight oversteer coming out of turn 3. Now P2 is under pressure by the two Hases of Felix and Alex just behind of them. Look at that, Felix is so close to P2. He has the mediums, so he's desperate for a move to happen, but Sam Alling goes wide. He goes completely off track, coming around turn 7, and he goes back on track in P8, but he's actually going side by side again with Felix. But now we have a move for the lead. Alex Lamas going side by side with Morgan Edwards, the V-Cup driver, now reclaiming the lead of the race, and Alex stays in P2 with Caltrese following just behind in P3. Jeremy is outside of DRS, but DRS is still not enabled, so let's see if he can gain some time back as the lap finishes. But now Felix and Sam Alling side by side through the chicane. Actually no, Felix stays ahead. Sam Alling has to back out because there would have been an impossible move, an impossible place to go side by side. Jeremy looks like he has recovered and he's back into the 1 second gap, but cannot say the same for Edwin, or actually even for Jeremy, because now the gap is 1.2 seconds and Edwin is recovering to Jeremy. And now the top 3 has a chance to take some weight off their shoulders, to have some breathing space behind them. Lap 16 starts and the DRS is back online. 1.6 seconds between Jeremy and Caltrese. He definitely lost out DRS. But no moves happening. The drivers have calmed themselves down just a little bit. Oh, but Felix on those mediums, he is absolutely flying compared to those hards. He had so much grip compared to PC going around turn 7, and now he burns some energy, uses DRS. They both have DRS, but it's gonna be an easy pass for Felix to go up into P6 and use those mediums as much as he possibly can. But he's gonna have to manage the traffic from Edwin and Jeremy. Alex gets a penalty. Now we are down to well, 2 drivers. It should have been 3, but it's now 2 because Sean DNF'd. Now we have 2 drivers with track miss penalties. Alex getting a 3-second time penalty for 3 warnings for track limits. PC Williams, Sam Alling going side by side. Sam Alling sticks his nose up the inside of turn 17 and he goes wheel to wheel. They make contact slightly, they just bump some wheels. The Aston Martin and the Sauber, but the latter stays ahead. But actually still go wheel to wheel with DRS enabled. The PC Willie has the inside. He dives down the inside, but Sam Alling still maintains momentum around the inside. They've gone wheel to wheel for a whole section. Now they lock wheels and oh, Sam Alling to the wall! Somehow Sam Alling has not DNF'd, but he's missing half a front wing from that contact from PC Willie going side by side for almost an entire sector. He had a massive oversteer he had to correct, and he corrected it into the wall, completely destroying his front wing. Oh, he destroys it even more. Now, like somehow the main plate is still on, but he's missing flaps and end plates. His front wing is pretty much non-existent. Alex Lamas now goes back into the lead of the race, overtaking Morgan. Oh, look at these drivers. They have to handle the traffic from Sam Alling, who is going so slowly because of the damage. Down to P12 he goes. What could have been a Sauber 1-2 ends in shambles. It ends in pieces of carbon fiber. Oh, always gets spun around. Always gets spun round by Sam Alling, or actually did he get spun round? I'm not sure. It wasn't clear from the camera angle, but he either got spun round from Sam Alling or he lost it by himself on traction. But that is the Williams spinning round. There's Aston Martin as well. That is PC Willie spinning round at turn 17, and so he's the Sauber of Sam Alling into the distance. But PC Willie has to reverse back on the track and he's damaged the front wing. Sam gets yet another penalty, but PC Willie has massive damage. Sam Alling has retired on track and he has brought out a virtual safety car. The virtual safety car is out and the race has been somewhat neutralized. PC Willie, we are costly mistake out of turn 17. He has damaged his front wing and I think he's gonna fix it now. Yes, he's missing the left hand plate and he's getting that replaced and he's going for the medium tires, but he's in dead last and so far off from the rest of the grid. That's another race ruined. Alex will have to handle yet another restart. This time will be a virtual safety car restart. Whoa, that was almost a brake check from Alex. It's not restarted yet. Whoa, Morgan braking so late for the turn 17 hairpin, almost going into the back of Alex, but he has not, and the race has been restarted. And Morgan has reacted quite well actually. He's just 2 tenths behind Tom and actually fighting for position as Tom, but actually Tom looks like to be on AI. Now Felix goes up into P4. That lap of virtual safety car might have saved him just like slightly some sideway, like very slightly. But look at that, he is now ahead of his main rival from Abu Dhabi, not his main rival in the championship, one of his old rivals for the title that was in season 14, back when Jeremy won the title against Felix for 1 single point. But they've been battling every single corner in Abu Dhabi, and maybe they can do that again here in Miami. But Jeremy for now is just an easy pass with DRS. And I missed a move for the lead from Morgan Edwards, but it probably was a DRS move once again. Alex with DRS once again. Morgan has crashed! It's a virtual safety car! Morgan Edwards, one of the main contenders for the win, has crashed. And how has he crashed? Oh, I think I know what happened. I mean, that's a very unusual crash, but the most plausible thing is that he clipped the inside of turn 16, no, of turn 14, like when the chicane starts. Like going too much on the inside on the left and clipping the wall and destroying your suspension. And Alex gets a drive-through penalty, speeding under virtual safety car. So many crashes and so many penalties. All of a sudden the race has been turned upside down. Morgan Edwards has such a good chance to win this race, but that went down in shambles. From a possible P1 to a concrete P13 for the V-Cup driver, and that is absolutely heartbreaking. And his P3 in the championship standings will be very easily compromised. Alex serves his drive-through penalty as soon as possible. But it is also a shame for him. But you know that Felix, we thought he couldn't be screwed. He couldn't be screwed with the strategy, and to some extent he still is screwed because he still has to drive 10 more laps on those mediums, and they're not really gonna last against those hards. But all of a sudden, if he can hold on, if he can manage that sidewire and that loss of pace, like he's not getting up to catch racer anyway. But all he has to do is to defend from Jamie, to defend this podium. And we've seen how much these two were fighting in Abu Dhabi. Can they pull off another fight like that? Like, hopefully not a fight that ends in penalties, but a fight nonetheless. But now Kutch Racer goes for the lead of the race finally against Alex, and goes for the lead for the first time this race. Jeremy sends it down the inside, out 17. Overtaking Felix, but I think Felix will have DRS and will have another chance to overtake him once again. He stays on the outside line for turn 1. There we go, Jamie goes back to the normal racing line. So it's a 5 for P1 between Kat and Alex, and a 5 for P3 between Felix and Jeremy. Edwin fighting for P5 with Jonathan and Bazuka. And then from P8 downwards is pretty much everyone on their own. Oh, Edwin has wing damage. I don't remember if I saw it earlier. I think it's the first time I see Edwin with wind damage. I don't know how he got that. But it's a left end plate missing on the McLaren nonetheless. Jeremy with a move on Felix. Jonathan with a move on Edwin. Oh, but Edwin actually very close to the rear of Jonathan there. I think both the fight for P1 and P3 will be decided by DRS games. They just have to manage their positions, like know when they need to stay behind or ahead in a DRS zone, and that's pretty much what's gonna decide the race win. Which, in my opinion, is the most boring. Like it's the worst way to decide a race win. Like if you just have to strategically play chess to know if you should stay behind or ahead with DRS, just. It's honestly so boring for me, and that is pretty much reinforced by the fact that DRS on F124 is just so powerful, and like there's really nothing you can do. So that's why you strategically need to decide when you're staying behind and when not. And even with the DRS stuff, because you could see DRS just slapping non-DRS, harvesting energy and deploying as much as they can on the straight. Sometimes it's enough, sometimes it's not. Most of the time it's not enough to like fight against DRS. We can just see how easily Edwin gets overtaken by Jonathan, and maybe even by Bazooka, or not. Oh, that was boring. I would have expected that dive bomb from Bazooka, like very similar to one from one of the Saubers. I actually don't remember anymore if it was from Alex or Sam Alding, but one of them was just sending dive bombs from like 3 corners behind in that same corner. I would have expected something like that from Bazooka. He had the speed, he had the DRS, he maybe could have done that, but we don't know, I guess. Oh, and Felix, looking for a switchback on Jeremy on the RC.1, but he actually make a slight bit of contact, and Jeremy could have been spun round. Luckily, he was not. But they didn't lose pretty much nothing. The gap still stays the same. 3/10.5, 4/10. We're pretty much there. It's gonna be DRS once again for Felix. Down the inside and back on the outside for normal racing line. Jeremy is using all of the slipstream. DRS is enabled. Does he send it down the inside? Yes, he somewhat does. They still go wheel to wheel. Is Jeremy ahead? Slightly. They still go side by side. Does Felix has DRS? Yes, he does, but does he send it? Or does he want to stay back? No, he wants to stay back. And I think it's part of his plan to stay behind at the beginning of the lap. Now Jonathan with a move on Edwin. It's actually crazy. Like in all of this, with so many of the top runners crashing out, we've got Jonathan in P5, Edwin in P6, Bazooka in P7, Akshurik in P9. Like drivers who are not exactly always up there, and now all of a sudden they are. Jonathan already, he got a P5 in Abu Dhabi. That was like really a magnificent result for him, and maybe he can do it again here in Miami. Oh, Jeremy might drop out of the arrest. Or not. No, I think he's in. I think he should still be in. Yes, he is. There was a glimmer of hope from Felix to be outside, like to have broken the arrest from Jeremy. Wasn't the case. Always fighting with the AI of Sam, I guess. Sam has been an AI the entire race. Lol. So now it's always into the point scoring positions. Who had a very, very deserved P4 already last week in Abu Dhabi. Charlie just down in P10 for tonight's race, but still points. Very much a shame for PC Willie because he's pretty much the last of the top runners. That mistake, that very much costed him. And he had no chance to recover, there was no safety car, just a virtual. Yeah, and that spin out of 1017 is gonna be it's gonna be quite a scar, I guess. So DRS swap once again. Lap 26 out of 29. Oh, Felix! Massive oversteer from Felix coming out of turn 12. And Jeremy was so close to hitting the back of him. Luckily he kept it on track. It could have been such a costly mistake for Felix. He could have ended up into the wall very badly. Luckily he didn't. So he is still in this fight. Lap 27 out of 29, 3 laps left. And the situation both for P1 and P3 is the same. Just DRS swaps over and over again. Actually, like Edin and Bazooka and Jonathan are actually fighting. Well, there we go, now Thomas joined. Just on AI the entire time, lol. Oh, Jeremy actually hangs around the outside of turn 11 and 12. Look at that. They go wheel to wheel. And Jeremy stays ahead at the chicane. But now lap 28 out of 29. Alex Lamas, who had a perfect race start, overtaking Morgan Edwards already on turn 1. At the start of the race. Now he's being put under threat by Kyle Tracer. He led almost every single lap. But eventually Kyle Tracer overtook him, and now it's a pure fight for the race win. It might still be decided by DRS, but it is nonetheless a fight. There is a gap of 7 points between those two positions, and they both know how crucial they are. PC will into the pits. I think he might be attempting a fastest lap. Now Felix overtakes Jeremy. It's interesting how Felix and Jeremy have been swapping positions left and right every single time, but Kat and Alex just stayed where they are the entire race. Like, even with the DRS, they didn't exchange positions once. But now, we go into the decisive phase of this race, the final lap, 29 out of 29, that Kyle Tracer starts in the lead, and Alex will follow through. Jeremy will start lap 29 in P3 ahead of Felix. Alex chasing Kyle as much as he can. The final lap is always the most crucial one in these sorts of fights. And Felix overtakes Jeremy just at the exit of turn 3. Bazooka gets a penalty for track limits, and that's gonna put him out of the fight for P5, so that's gonna be P7 at most. But for the lead of the race, Alex actually didn't use DRS on purpose. What about Felix and Jeremy? Who's gonna have DRS? So the two of them is gonna be Jeremy, who actually not. Or did he open his ring? Yes, he did. Jeremy with DRS on the inside of turn 11, and he stays ahead. But on the back straight, Alex has the DRS. Crucially, he stayed behind on purpose. He stayed behind Kyle Tracer so that he could use the DRS to overtake him here at the back straight. But Kyle Tracer sends it back on the inside, and they go so deep, they almost go into the wall, and they almost touch. They still go side by side across the finish, and who's going to be ahead? It's going to be Kyle Tracer with a move on the absolutely final lap to win the Miami Grand Prix with Alex Lamas just a tenth behind. But now Jeremy and Felix fighting, and Felix doesn't send it on the inside, and he actually gets a switchback nicely. Can he get the traction out of turn 17? They still go with Sweden. They actually goes through, and no, actually Jeremy stays ahead. Felix misses out on the podium by an even smaller of a gap between Alex and Kyle Tracer, which was 1 tenth and 4 thousandths for Felix and Jeremy. It's only 82 thousandths of a second less than a tenth. Jonathan will finish with a very deserved P5, Edwin in P6, Bazooka in P7, Alex in P8, and the two Williams boys close to each other in P9 and P10. 3 points for the team, and that rounds up the top 10. And Kyle Tracer, what a move! What a move! He was vulnerable to the DRS games. Alex stayed behind on purpose. He didn't open DRS because he wanted to stay behind at the end of that DRS zones, because he could just fly past Kyle Tracer on the back straight, and that's what he did. But he left the inside wide open for Kyle Tracer for that decisive move, absolutely sending it on the inside and even making them go deep. But as long as they didn't go into the wall, that was all they were hoping for, and it's once again a very deserved race win for Kyle Tracer. 25 points to his name in the standings to extend his gap even more from Felix. 25 against 12, that is a 13 points gain from Kyle Tracer, so the gap goes from 9 to 22 points. After the first half of the season done, Round 6, Miami Grand Prix, these are the results. Kyle Tracer winning with Alex in P2. Almost led the relap, could have won, but eventually lost out to Clutch Racer. Jeremy improving from P6 to P3. Felix improving from P9 to P4. Jonathan improving from P13 to P5. Edwin from P10 to P6. And then we got some downgrades, but actually no, always actually from P15 and 14 into the points they go. Somehow the AI of Tom almost went in the points, but then we got PC with the fastest lap, but no other points, and then Morgan Edwards crashing out, Sam Allen crashing out, Shamuel crashing out, and Sally retiring in the pits. And this has been the Miami Grand Prix here in Division 1, Season 16. The first half of Season 16 is done. So we got other 6 races before we finish off on F124 for good. And but I suggest you stick around. Well, other than that, so quick reminder of the calendar. We've got the esports division ending tomorrow, 7 p.m. UK. Highly recommend you to watch that. It's gonna be Brazil with a custom weather set to wet, then to dry, then to wet. Honestly suggest you watch that. Then we've got the Miami Grand Prix in Division 2, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. UK. But I reckon you absolutely tune in for next Saturday, because for the first time in F1 Total, we are actually bringing some news, a new format into the official calendar. Ladies and gentlemen, next week in Division 1, we will see the very first Mystery Grand Prix. We will choose a random track just before qualifying starts. The drivers will have no chance to practice because they will not know the track. They will just know it a few minutes before the lobby actually starts. So we will see a very, very interesting race, that's for sure. We'll see how quickly and how well the drivers can adapt. We will do it for Division 1 and for Division 2 as well, obviously. And since the tracks are random, the tracks will very likely be different from Division 1 and Division 2. They still have obviously the mathematical chance of the same track being drawn out, although that is unlikely. But to clarify, we will sort out, we will spin a random wheel generator to choose a track. To clarify, a track that is not in the current calendar. Because the current calendar includes, just let me check that real quick. So far we've raced in Silverstone, Shanghai, Suzuka, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, and Miami. And then after the mystery track, we have Zandvoort, Hungary, Austria, Brazil, and Monza. So any track that is not the ones I've mentioned will have a chance to be drawn out for the Mystery Grand Prix. So again, I highly recommend you tune into that. What else can I say? Oh yes, so the esports division is ending tomorrow on Sunday, but on next Sunday, which is going to be the first Sunday of April, that is April 6th, Realistic Racing will finally make its comeback. The league is set, the calendar is set, the driver lineups are set, everything is good to go, and we will finally be bringing back the Realistic Racing for the OGs, but obviously it is open to anyone, even to those who have not heard of the league before, which again is going to be on F1 2020. Realistic performance will be enabled. You still have a chance to join, so before April 6th, I highly recommend you do that if you have F1 2020. And the calendar is gonna start with Sochi, Russia, a track that was removed from the calendar since 2022. So we will be returning on that one. But yeah, that is all I had to say. Thank you for watching tonight's stream, and again, I've reminded you of all the races we're gonna do, but for Division 1, we will be back next Saturday for the Mystery Grand Prix, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching, have a good rest of the evening, and we will see you next week.